Sure. Thank you, Chairman Carper. Thank all of you for being here for today's hearing. I do appreciate your willingness to start this conversation in the committee and look forward to working it in the process in the coming months on our bipartisan solutions. This committee has been, I think, one of the most effective out of any in the Senate in moving legislation over the past couple of years via regular order. And that has been a result of our collaboration, our staff, and the work of our members to seek bipartisan solutions and abiding by the committee process. So I thank you for renewing that approach again, because we know it works, so that we can make sure that the environment and economic benefits from a functioning federal permitting process can be seen, and that effort kicks off today. Also, again, want to thank the panel of witnesses. We're eager to hear from all of you on how we can improve the environmental review and permitting process to revitalize our economy, reduce prices for consumers, create good-paying jobs for all Americans, and rapidly build out the infrastructure, energy, manufacturing, and mineral resources that we so sorely need. For far too long, projects of all sorts have gotten stuck in a purgatory that is the federal environmental review and permitting process. If they make it through that with a permit, they face the certain threat of lawsuits, even if those didn't start even earlier in the process. The problems with the process, they don't just impact sponsors. They harm American workers and consumers with lost jobs, higher energy prices, traffic congestion, more pollution, and many other missed opportunities that result from the failure to modernize infrastructure and energy systems. These costs to the American people are sort of hidden and diffuse. So since there's no line item on a receipt that you get, you can easily see or quantify them. That has allowed us to become a bit complacent, I believe. But make no mistake, these regulatory obstacles are kind of a tax on American prosperity and hamper the environmental and economic progress we want to see pass on to future generations. The goal of this hearing is to better understand those costs, identify some of the greatest pressure points and obstacles in the process, and hear ideas on how to address them in understandable terms from the folks that have to navigate all of this. It is our role as elected officials to take this feedback and explain to our fellow Americans what we are actually doing, what the stakes are, and why improving this process goes hand in hand with ensuring environmental protection and economic growth. My home state of West Virginia alone, there are multiple real-world examples of how our broken environmental review and permitting process is holding up critical projects across multiple sectors important to West Virginians, but also to our national economy. In our transportation sector, Corridor H. In our manufacturing sector, Nucor. And in our energy sector, Mountain Valley Pipeline. But this is not only a West Virginia story that we're going to hear today. Projects across the country of national significance are also stuck in the regulatory and legal no woman's land. Job-creating projects continue to be bogged down by red tape, judicial review holdups, starts and stops that cause delay, sometimes totally abandonment of the projects. Every state has stories like these in urban as well as rural areas. We will not be able to onshore the industries critical to our international competitiveness and national security without getting this right. A generational investment in transportation infrastructure we worked so hard on in this committee in the IIJA is running up against the wall of our nation's permitting process issues, delaying project delivery and letting inflation eat away at the funding that we provided. So where do we start and how do we fix this broken system? I believe we need permitting reform that benefits all projects, not just a small subset of projects that are politically favorable to one group or another. We need enforceable timelines with clear time limits and predictable schedules for environmental reviews and consequences when agencies fail to act in a timely fashion. We need to process and decide legal challenges to projects expeditiously instead of continuing to drown in endless litigation. And to make the substantive changes I'm describing, we must actually amend the statutes in our jurisdiction, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, and NEPA. Window dressing the existing failed system, if all we do is window dress the failed system, it's not an option. We're not getting anywhere. Unless Congress and President Biden work together to make these substantive reforms, the impact of the IIJA, the CHIPS Act, and other federal investments will be severely reduced while projects await approvals. Now, I've said before and I'll say it again. I believe we get the best solutions and the needed reforms by going through regular order in a bipartisan committee process like we see today. At the end of an honest negotiation, neither side will get exactly what it wants, and we all know that. So, Chairman Carper, you and I found ways to find common ground and report out of the committee. We just did it today in our recycling bills. Meaningful legislation and other challenging policy areas. We've done this before, and I'm confident that we can make it happen here. As you like to say, here's one of your sayings. I've been here long enough to get a couple of your sayings. You and I are workhorses, we're not show horses. The American people will get a lot in return for decades to come and be saved from the hidden tax of red tape and bureaucracy if we on this committee can work together as we have before on real implementable reforms. So that's what I intend to do in working with you and our colleagues on both sides. I look forward to kicking off these conversations today. Thank you.